of a really, really big case that is a murder trial that is going down. It's called the sensational, they're calling it, Tri-Willow murder case. And everybody's contact from Barbara Walters to Nancy Grace and 2020 and all of that, all interested in this case. And he's from Utica, which I found was very interesting. Antonio, good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
Good. So give us the background on this case, and which is incredibly, it's a huge case.
Well, it just seems to have captured the imagination of almost the world, as strange as that sounds. It's clearly a horrific crime. The young doctor in her 40s who was into integrative and holistic medicine, Teresa Sievers, was literally bludgeoned to death in her own home by two gentlemen, Curtis Wainwright and a fellow named Jimmy Rogers. They were arrested some time ago, and Mr. Wright has said on the record and in open court, or at least the investigator said in open court, that he was hired as a murder for hire by Mark Sievers, Teresa's husband.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they said. Now, you're saying there's no evidence. You represent Mark Sievers, right?
Yes, we do.
And you're saying there's no evidence out there that attaches him to this crime.
Well, just the statement of Curtis Wainwright at this point. We are beginning to review the evidence, which is substantial. I mean, obviously, there's like 37,000 pages of documents that have to be reviewed, and but at the present time, it seems like his statement is the primary evidence against Mark Sievers.
And how do you give credibility to somebody like that?
Well, I've done enough of these cases to say, it's easy to say he got a sweetheart deal.
Yeah.
I mean, he is going to serve 25 years in prison now. While that doesn't sound like much of a deal to a lot of people, Mark Sievers is now he may be facing the death penalty. They have indicted him for first-degree murder in Florida. They are discussing whether they're going to put the death penalty in play here. And so the 25 for a guy that actually committed the murder is pretty attractive.
Yeah. I don't want to go anti-prosecutor here, but anytime you see one of these cases, it always seems like there's a prosecutor who just truly believes and cannot help but believe that this is the person that did it. It's not that they're doing something wrong. They're doing something they believe in, and they're going to do whatever they can to convince everyone of what they know is correct. The problem is sometimes they're wrong.
Well, I think that in this case, there's some truth in that the statistics show that when a wife is murdered, 85% of the time it happens to be the husband that's involved in the crime.
Yeah.
And I think they took that theory and ran with it early,
Yeah.
and did a pretty good job, really, of finding finding Curtis Wainwright and Jimmy Rogers.
Yeah, Andrew.
So, yeah, pretty interesting, really,
Wow.
really, how they played this out.
Yeah.
So you talk about the fact that there's the lack of evidence that would tie Mark to these alleged killers, or I guess since they made the deal, the killers of his wife. Was there any? I mean, I don't know. Is there any possible motive that he would even hire these guys to do it? I mean, what's his profession? Did she make more money than him? Is it a jealousy thing? What could be even a possible motive?
Well, I think the motive that the prosecution has played is that there is a substantial amount of life insurance to be paid upon Teresa's death. Now, having said that, what they haven't accounted for is that some of the life insurance would go into a trust for the kids, so it wouldn't all go to Mark anyways. On the other hand, money always seems to be the underlying motive here. Even though, Mark worked at the practice, he helped her run the practice, he did the billing, he did the office management. She was clearly the wage earner, though, in the family.
Yeah.
And Mark took care of the two kids. The tragedy here is these two kids have lost a mother, and for the time being have lost a father.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. And your office is getting bombarded with requests, you're saying, around the world right now for interviews. They're very intrigued by this case.
Yeah, they are, and I really think about that. I mean, why has this case captured the imagination of the public?
Yeah.
And I think it's because it was a young doctor. If you remember, Bill, there were 8 or 9 holistic doctors killed in a short period of time back last year. She happened to be one of those. There was some thoughts as to whether that was they were all related or not.
Right.
I mean, it just and the tragedy of these 2 kids. Is just enormous. One of the things we are doing, as my partner has been fighting in the dependency court to get these 2 kids over with Mark's mother, Bonnie Sievers. So far, we have not been successful. The court has indicated that they should stay with Teresa's mother, and that's where they are presently. The kids are 12 and 9 years old.
Boy, it's these cases. We've been, the country, the world was riveted watching that documentary there in Wisconsin with the Stephen Avery case, and you just watch that and see how important it is to have a great defense attorney and a great team working for you, because you can really get eaten alive inside the system.
Well, and the sheer volume of material is pretty overwhelming. I mean, we're a 2-man office here, but we put together paralegals and clerks to try to sift through this and present a viable defense for this fellow.
Listen, we'll be watching, and I'm sure people are going to see this on the national programs, because it's going to be one that's going to be hitting nationally very quickly. I do want to, from a local standpoint, the fact that you're from here. Do you find the same food down there in Florida? Do you?
No, I do not.
The chicken riggies, the greens,
Yeah, no, we don't have that here in Naples, Florida. No.
Well, there's a thing up here now called It's a Utica thing, and they ship all that stuff. Tomato pie, they'll ship it right down to you. So it's an easy ship.
That's pretty good.
All right, good stuff. Really unbelievable case. And Antonio Faga, we appreciate the time, and we'll be watching the national scene to see this story as it's unfolding here.
Thanks, Bill. Nice to talk to you, buddy.
Quick break here. 8:52 at WIBX.